Ooh, this will be fun. My friends, we have a tremendous broadcast for you tonight. This is my sidekick, Imabel, and I'm Travis, but most of you
Hi, welcome to the live stream.
will get to all your comments and questions in a little bit, but tonight the theme is multiculturalism. And I want to talk about that because we have a lot, like that's a buzzword these days. You hear about it all the time. I think it's a pretty new term too because I don't recall hearing this term maybe 3 4 years ago. I don't think you ever even heard the term, most people. I think I've only heard it in the past 2 or 3 years, but that's what everyone's talking about. And I think I'm a good person to talk about multiculturalism. I've made so many videos sharing and spreading other cultures to you guys to entertain you, inform you, educate you, just so you can have a good time and smile. Especially if you look at more of my videos from maybe 3 or 4 years ago, that was really one of the aims of this. And I'm also a good person to talk about it because I am a minority after all, guys. Especially when you look at the planet Earth, my race is definitely a very small minority of the world's population. But I'm not only a minority on the planet Earth, of course, I'm a minority in the current country where I live, in the building where I live, and I don't have anything bad to say about that. One thing that, well, you've been, because I pay attention to the news in the United States and the world news, what's going on in Europe, the United States, and you see a lot of that about me, and you see all these Western politicians talking about how we need multiculturalism. A couple of weeks ago, Joe Biden said that soon white people will be a minority in the United States, and he said that's not a bad thing. Although I can't imagine someone saying, black people will be a minority in Kenya, and that's not a bad thing. But let me ask you this, Imabel, you're from Asia, obviously. Have you heard in your country or any of the neighboring countries, have you ever heard of a politician saying, we need more diversity in this country? Too many of the people are the same. We need to bring in other races and stuff. Have you heard your leaders say
Well,
that?
that's a good question. I have never really heard or encountered that word multiculturalism until you brought it up and until I started hearing it on TV, especially, the news in America and in other countries. Because here, I mean, we're all Filipinos, but actually, we know that from history, Filipinos, we all came from, Spanish, Chinese, different races.
Not many of them came from Spanish.
Yeah,
Most of them are Malay.
Yeah, yes. Thank you. I stand corrected.
You're talking about a small percentage.
Yeah, but it's not like multiculturalism is not something that's really emphasized.
But
it's not really, you don't really, it's not like, not as much.
But you bring
like
up
how they have it in America and other countries.
You bring up a very good point, though, because I do think the Philippines is much more multicultural than the average country in this region in East Asia or in Southeast Asia. Of course, Southeast Asia, they've been colonized a lot. The Dutch colonized your neighboring country of Indonesia, Malaysia, the British, Hong Kong, the British, Philippines, Spanish. They've had people from Britain here.
Right.
They've had, of course, the United States more recently. So it is much more. And one thing about it, I would say that's very great about the Philippines, and a lot of black people actually ask me this question. Unfortunately, it's a question I can't answer for them. So many black people ask me, what's it like to be a black person in the Philippines? Is it good for black people? And it's like, I'm sorry, but I can't answer that because I can't speak for African Americans, or I can't speak for black people because I don't know what it's. Did I stop streaming?
We see something that says video was interrupted. The streamer stopped streaming. Hopefully you still see us and you still hear us. But so far we got some comments already, and I wanted to start sending a shout out. What happened?
I don't know. So are you guys getting this? I don't know what happened there.
Let
Let
us
me
know
see.
if you're they have it in America and other countries.
You bring up a very good point.
But checking how it's going because we saw a
Was there an
notification
interruption, guys?
saying that there's an interruption.
I was making a point there. I don't know if you being on the internet. Uh, Hugo was saying, just for info, I got some glitch with the S sound. Just some time, now some delay in the video load. Don't make me start this again. We were off to a good start on this. Let us know how the broadcast is going for you guys. Let me type into the room here, trying to figure. We were off to a roll there. So it said I stopped streaming.
So yeah, we're wondering if you're still hearing us or seeing us. There's also a delay. I'm not sure how many minutes.
It's not that long, actually.
So hopefully we can know from you guys how it's going.
Okay, I think
I think it's good. I
think
don't
it's
know.
good. So
Oh, cool. Thank you, Hugo. Thank you. Oh, Brian Mitchell, hello to you. I think Brian was the first person to comment, and he said, "Entertain me." Yay! How are you, Brian?
Sorry, guys. We'll get to your guys' questions and comments. I want to finish the point I was making.
Go ahead.
But what I really want to talk about is not just multiculturalism. Like I said, that's a very buzzwordy thing, and it seems that it's being forced upon us. One thing that I kind of don't like is a lot of people like to talk about us being an interracial couple, and I kind of don't like to get into some of that because I feel like it dehumanizes us a bit. It makes me just a white person, and it makes you just an Oriental person or a Filipino person. And I don't like that because it kind of dehumanizes. We're both unique people. Now, I will title some of the videos American guy or something like that or white guy, but I think that's just helps people click on it. I actually got that from Peter Chow, who, if you remember Peter Chow, I don't even know if he's that active, but he was really big maybe around 2008, 2009. And he used to title us his Chinese guy and then whatever he did in the video. But I used to really enjoy a lot of his videos. So I was inspired by Peter Chow to give him credit where credit is due. But basically is what this is really about. It's about how all these people are pushing something, but they don't really believe what they say. Joe Biden saying that basically it's a good thing that white people are going to be a minority. However, is Joe Biden going to be a minority in whatever neighborhood he lives in? Is his grandchildren going to be minorities at whatever school they go to? Of course, that's probably not going to be the case. It's just rhetoric. He doesn't really believe what he says he believes. Just like all those politicians. There was a popular YouTuber that a lot of people that just endorsed Hillary Clinton, and a lot of people are angry at him. But this is another thing. One time, apparently, his wife wore a T-shirt that said "God is a black woman." He's married to a Jewish woman, and she wore this shirt that said "God is a black woman." But she's originally from a black majority country, South Africa. But apparently, she lived in a white neighborhood. So I guess she didn't really believe that God is a black woman. She has to live amongst white people. But all these people, especially the politicians or these other public figures like YouTubers, they say all these things that they don't believe. Even now, you have all these people that are saying, "Oh, if Donald Trump wins, I'm going to move to Canada." Well, why Canada? That's still a white majority country. Why not move to Mexico? But these people, they don't really believe. They say, "Oh, Mexicans are so great and everything." Well, why don't you try moving there and living with them? Or you can move to Asia like this, or you can move to Africa. Why, out of all the countries in the world, and like I said, whites are a minority, why choose to go to a country where white people are the majority? But of course, these people don't really believe what they say they believe. So I mean, just like here's another good example: Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain not a guy I particularly love. And there's a clip that I saw on YouTube, the clip's on YouTube, and he was in Cologne, Germany, which is a very liberal city, and they have their own push about multiculturalism these days with Angela Merkel. But he was talking to some guy from Cologne, a local guy, and they said the solution to all these problems about racial problems is going to be when people breed interracially enough so everyone's the same country. That's when we'll finally have a really great society without any of this. So in other words, they don't want diversity. What they want is everyone to be exactly the same. These people that are so pro diversity, they don't really believe in that. They don't want that. And another thing that was interesting about that conversation, the guy said it'll be great when there's no more white people, when everyone's the same color, because eventually, if everyone breeds interracially enough, white people won't exist, and that'll be a great thing. Why is it great? I mean, Anthony Bourdain just agreed with him like a wimp, instead of asking him the real questions and say, well, first of all, I guess diversity is not a good thing if society can only work if we're all exactly the same race. If that's the only way. Apparently, you believe diversity is bad. And also, why do you say it's only good that when there will be no more white people? And this guy that was saying this, he's a German guy, a white guy. So it's kind of interesting coming from him. Looks pretty wimpy too. But why is it good? Why can't you say, yeah, it'll be good that when no more black people exist? Why is it only good when no more white people exist? It's very strange, their level of thinking.
I think whether he is a white, black, brown person, you know, I mean, why does he have to express something or to state his point while putting down a group of people or a race? You know what
His
I
own
mean?
race.
Exactly.
He said he'll be good when he doesn't exist. Him and
Yeah.
his family members basically don't exist in the future, which is a very strange point of view. But like I said, it just proves that these pro-diversity people, they don't really believe that. They're a bunch of phonies. Me, to pat myself on the back, and that's not why I'm doing this. At least I actually went to a country where I am a racial minority, and even like when I was in college, which I went to college in the United States, I was around a lot of black people. I went a lot of places. Most people probably wouldn't know this, but the majority of the roommates I've had throughout my lifetime have been African American.
Cool.
Some good, some bad.
Just any race, just any nationality, just any country. Some people are good, some people are bad. But you know what? We should greet someone in the room, and that is one of the members of our Patreon family. You know who he is?
Chris Vinci.
Happy birthday, Chris Vinci!
I haven't been reading the
Happy
comments in this
birthday
room. Sorry,
to
guys.
you!
It's his
Yay,
birthday.
yeah.
Happy birthday, Chris.
Maybe your birthday is my mom's birthday too. Because, I mean, we're advanced in our time is advanced in yours. So maybe you and mom have the same birthdays. Wow, happy birthday! Please say hi to your family. And Brian, please say hi to your wife for us as well.
Okay, I've missed a lot of your comments and stuff, guys. Sorry, I'll get to them here in a minute. I want to do my little spiel, but something else I'd like to say is basically what I was really talking about is the whole point of this is these people that say these things, especially, of course, the politicians, but even these public figures like these popular YouTubers that say this stuff, none of them believe what they're saying. And I don't know about you guys, but that rubs me the wrong way. How the hypocrisy of all these people preaching to us, and me, of course, I'm really living that lifestyle, but I don't feel the need to push these things on other people. I like exposing culture to you guys, and I've always been. It's kind of interesting too because, especially like I said, that multiculturalism. It seems like this is a new term. I've maybe only heard it 2 or 3 years ago for the first time. Growing up though in North Dakota, I grew up in, I guess not
White dominated.
White dominated, or we're dominant. Is that what you're saying?
You're the dominant race.
That's an interesting way.
In your neighborhood.
The majority.
Yeah,
in my
majority
city.
in
Yeah.
your,
Well, I grew up in North Dakota, which of course, and in the 1990s, we didn't have a lot of, it is different now a little bit, but in the 1990s, we didn't have a lot of different races and stuff. Our main minority was American Indians. And of course, we had a lot of those around and at school and stuff. But I'd never heard of multiculturalism, but I always kind of wanted to keep North Dakota only for North Dakota people with like one culture, because I knew even then somehow, without being influenced from outside sources, I knew that people coming in with other types of belief systems, people from other areas and such, they would just mess it up. And I'll give you an example. I remember when I was in junior high, we had all these at the local colleges. They started recruiting all these football players from different states, from Detroit, from California, and they started getting arrested a lot. And some of these were for fairly minor offenses, at least what would be considered minor in maybe California or Detroit. Like a lot of them, they were getting arrested for marijuana and some other stuff. So marijuana in most places, it would be a very minor thing, especially these days. It's not even really illegal anymore. But in North Dakota, we didn't have murders, and at least this is going back to 1990s. Things were a little different back then. We didn't have murders, we didn't have serious thefts and robberies, we didn't have serious crimes. So the police could dedicate a lot to like the so-called smaller things, which were considered more serious there. But I just thought all these outsiders coming in, they're coming in with different belief systems, and it's not meshing real well. And I can see how if you get enough people coming in, it's going to totally change the local culture, and not in what I would think is a good direction. But I was always interested in other cultures. I kind of want to keep North Dakota like pure and innocent in a way. But I'd always been interested my whole life in other cultures, and I always wanted to travel and visit other places. And in particular, of course, I was very interested in Asian cultures. I was a huge fan of Bruce Lee and a huge fan of martial arts movies, so especially Asian cultures, it really struck my fancy. So as I got older, of course, I got an opportunity to do that, and that's kind of what I'm sharing with you guys. And the bottom line about multiculturalism, it's one of those things, it's not black and white like most things in this world. There's gray areas. And anyone that says it's all good, well, that's completely stupid. And anyone that says it's all bad, I don't think that that's right either. I think there's pluses and minuses. And what you got to take into account is, does the good outweigh the bad? Some people might say, some people, of course, they'd say yes. Other people would say no. That's kind of a matter of opinion. But I would say it's a black and white issue. And I kind of don't like, in some way, like I said, like when they promote us as now these days, because it used to just be me in the spotlight. But as like the past couple of years, you've been taking a more prominent role, and I kind of don't like, especially the local media here, sometimes the newspapers or the TV shows. I get it's an angle, like anytime you're doing a feature, you have to come with an angle. But sometimes it does kind of rub me the wrong way too about how we're promoted that way, because you're not the typical Filipino person. I don't necessarily think I'm the typical American. We're both individuals. I think we're both unique. And when you just go to our race or our nationality, to some extent it dehumanizes us. And I especially hate when viewers of this channel, they say Filipinos are this way, especially when they're talking about you, because they don't know you, and they don't know you don't fit a lot of the stereotypes that they have in their minds. So, but be careful of these people that will, be careful of what these people are selling you.
That's true.
They're selling themselves as these great people, these noble people, but it's all phony, it's all an act. So,
well, of course, if someone wants to get, or if they're trying to draw support from the people, from a group of people, they would say what this group of people want to hear. You know what I mean? In general. Hold on. We have a comment from Luigi G. Immobile. Can you say hi to my mom? Hi to you, Vielka. How are you? Thank you, Luigi. And
We'll get to your guys' comments
go
now.
ahead.
So I'm sorry, guys. I want to go off on my spiel here. So we'll get to your comments, your questions.
You want to start from the beginning?
I'll just start.
It's moving
Okay,
fast,
let me
but
go
let's
back
try
to the
go
beginning
back
and
to
see
the
what I
beginning.
missed. Brian Michaluk, thanks for joining us.
Brian is also part of our Patreon family.
Hugo from Canada. It's so nice that people from all these different cultures and countries and races are joining us, because even though we're all different, we can still like each other. And I think a lot of the people that watch this channel, at least I hope, that we're all working towards goals, even if maybe they're a little bit different goals from one person to the next. But hopefully we're all working on improving and being the best we possibly can be. So
yeah. Hugo, how are you? Hope everything is going well. And sorry, I'm not sure when the last time I was able to get back to you on your questions about travel. I have just really been very busy lately. I'm currently managing an executive tour, and most of my time is spent for that, aside from, of course, other things that I also take care of. But hopefully, I'm hoping that you will really have a trip of your lifetime as well. So maybe next time when maybe I could get back to your message if I haven't responded to it yet. And
Thomas Miller, thanks for joining us. Delante Vlog Show, thanks for joining us.
Hi there.
You seem to be very loyal and tune in a lot. Paula Dion, you tune in a lot too. Thank you. Sarah Silva. Hello, Sarah.
Hello to you, Mark Iris Ramas.
Gator 33 says we're providing an interesting view and he appreciates it. Glad to hear it.
Thank you, Gator 33.
Scott Malec.
Thank you for letting us know that it's working fine.
Andre Corey, I believe is how you say that last name. Chris Vinci. Let me see. Jaron Patton, Jaron, you're always leaving really nice comments. We do appreciate it.
That.
Ishmael Marsh, you tune in a lot. We do appreciate that. So a lot of regulars in here, and we do appreciate that. James has a question. Do you think Trump will improve the U.S.? Well, if he gets elected, I can't say, like most people, I can't say one way or another. He's a little bit unpredictable in terms of we don't really know what he would do. But I caught part of the debate the other day, and this is almost topic for a separate video. One thing I found interesting that he mentioned was he wants to make the immigration process quicker, because right now you apply for a visa, whether it's for a wife, whether it's for a fiance, there's a waiting period. It's usually at least a few months. Sometimes it could be a year or more. It's a long waiting process. And since he's married to an immigrant, he possibly understands some of these issues about immigration better than most of these other people. But he mentioned he wants to make the immigration process move faster. And I think that'd be fantastic, because what you really need to do is you need to discourage illegal immigration by making it harder on them to immigrate illegally. You want to and then you want to encourage people to do things the right way by making things easier on them. And that's something the United States, our government, does very terribly. They reward people for doing things the wrong way and to do things illegally. And then people, good, honest people, they're trying to do things the right way. They make things very tough on them, and they charge them all these fees, and it's a big mess. So I think that would be good, that aspect.
We also have Dan Duguay from Canada. Thank you for joining us.
Scott Mallet says, ironically, the Democratic Party not only started the KKK, but they keep blacks oppressed. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. Like a lot of these people, like Hillary Clinton, they talk to black people and they win their votes, but they don't actually do anything for them. In fact, if you look at a lot of their policies, those are actually going to be the things that are going to hurt a lot of these racial minorities, whether it's blacks or some of these other ones. Like one thing Bill Clinton mentioned was he wants Somalis to rebuild Detroit. Well, doesn't he think the local people there, which are primarily black people in Detroit, doesn't he think they're capable of rebuilding it themselves? Why you have to bring in all these other people to rebuild that city?
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point.
We have an interesting question here because we've been encountering taxi drivers, people on the street, and they share their thoughts about what Duterte has been saying about America and all that stuff. But before that, let me say hi to James Brophy as well. I'm not sure if we got to say hi to him already. And this question is from Thomas Eggers. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing it right. Good evening. How is the Filipino attitude on the streets from Duterte's anti-American attitude toward Americans there? Actually, remember one of the taxi drivers
I have a video coming up, an interview.
who addressed that issue?
We can't give away too
Yeah,
much. I got to edit the
yeah,
video though. It should be in an upcoming vlog.
yeah. Because see, it's not just highly educated or top ranking officials in the corporate world or in a government. It's also the simple, working class, hardworking working class, that and I highly respect them for what they do. Especially the taxi drivers now, they've been really very very nice, and like the taxi drivers in the past, they even they talk about how they feel and think about what Duterte has been doing.
We have a user, Robin Hood, who I've seen him join us a lot. He says, "Good evening from London."
Oh hi, yeah,
Are
my
you eating some spotted dick out there in London?
what's that?
He can comment on what that is. Uh, and Jaron says, "You guys are the greatest people I ever knew." Now, don't get too excited,
Aww.
Amabel. It turns out the only people he knows are total degenerates. So it doesn't. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Jaron.
That's very
That's so
nice to
sweet.
hear.
Thank you so much.
I think we're very good people. However, of course, we're not perfect people. We're human. We all have our bad moments.
Of course,
So
nobody's perfect.
nobody's perfect.
And
So
whenever we make mistakes,
don't
there are opportunities to get better.
don't nominate us for sainthood just yet, Jared.
I would, speaking of Robin Hood from London, the guest I'll be managing the tour, the executive tour that I'm managing, the guest is from London.
Yeah,
See,
she's doing a
I
tour
lack
for a guest
sleep.
from
That's why
London.
I'm kind of like
She's been so
incoherent.
stressed out lately and so underslept because she's prepping to she has a client coming tomorrow. Though it sounds like he might get bumped on a different flight and actually get a free ticket round trip to anywhere he wants in the world. He's waiting to get bumped.
Good.
That's amazing if that can happen.
Yeah.
I've had that happen, but only within the United States.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's not like he has to
internationally,
catch a
he can just
meeting or
come.
a
Yeah.
business, meeting, an event.
So you're going to be spending some times with a fellow Londoner,
Yes,
and
yes, he's a good fellow. And let's see who else.
I was gonna bring this up. It's been on my mind a lot. We actually didn't make it to the gym tonight. They close a little earlier on Saturday nights. We go in late night a lot of the times. At least we have been, and which is fun because it's like we're the only two people in the gym.
Oh yeah, it's like the entire gym is ours.
But one thing
Just
that I
that's
want
so
to
late.
one thing I want to point out is this gym. It's owned by some lovely Christian people. And it's a great gym, fantastic, amazing equipment. Like this has got to be one of the top gyms in the entire country, in my opinion. I would say it's even
Top
better.
notch.
Yeah, I mean it's better than Gold's because their equipment stuff it's in better shape, newer. Really, the clientele there is really great too, really high end clientele. Really nice Christian people that own it. However, the music I would say is a little bit less than
But
Christian that
it's
they
not the
play in there.
owners who are playing that. They
It's
don't.
not the.
I don't
I don't
think
know
they
who
know.
chooses the
I don't think
music.
they know that those are the songs that are being played there.
I don't know who's in
Or
charge of the
maybe,
music.
or maybe whoever chooses the songs or music to play, you know, doesn't really realize that the songs, the lyrics are
I
filthy.
was in there the other night and they played a song. It was all about sex, and then it followed up by another song about the guy was singing about how he's gonna F you from behind. These are the actual lyrics, and then it was followed by a song that contained the N word in like everything. And I'm not so sensitive or offended easily, especially like I'm like I can hear the N word. It doesn't. I don't freak out or lose my mind. But while I'm in the gym, I don't know if I need it shouted at me constantly while I'm trying to do my workout. But it's all, I was saying too, it's all music only by black people. There's no songs or music by white people. And generally, I don't like most music by black musicians and stuff. I'm not, so there's exceptions to the rule, and some of those may surprise you. I don't really like rap, hip hop. No, there is exceptions like Busta Rhymes. I know, and that like if you say you don't like most music made by African Americans, especially rap, and then I say Busta Rhymes, that's a little bit more of like heavy duty. That's more heavy duty. He was bigger in the 1990s. That woo-ha, woo-ha, Busta Rhymes. So I'm okay with him actually. So some of it, just like country music, I don't generally like country music, but of course, maybe some Johnny Cash. There's always exceptions to the rule. I don't even like most music made by white people, frankly. I like very little music, but I'm saying there's no diversity. It's only music made by black people. Can we get some music made by white people, maybe? Or even some local music I would be okay with, some OPM, some local Filipino music. I like a lot of local music actually. A lot of great talented singers and bands and musicians. Rico Blanco, Eraserhead's Pupil. There's tons. I haven't really listened to it for a while, but there's tons of really great local music. And the reason I like it is because it reminds me of like 1990s rock music. A lot of the local artists, but yeah, the obscenity, and we're a little shy to say something. I'm tempted, but I don't want to overstand my bounds and say, could we play something a little different? Especially, but the thing is, too, Filipinos, if there's English cuss words and things like that, even you go to the mall here, they play really filthy music in stores, or even in McDonald's, it's full of filthy music, like a lot of the times.
The thing is, like what I just mentioned a few minutes ago, many Filipinos don't really realize it's filthy.
They don't care because in English it's not really swearing to them.
It's like, to them it could be like it's just cool because it's in a song and they hear it. They even say the word nigga in the Philippines, just like anytime anywhere, like they're trying to be cool.
But I don't think that one's so bad. That's not really the N word. The N word ends with the ER. And I think that's like the softer form that's more socially acceptable.
Actually, I did not say the ER sound because I just want to avoid whatever. I don't really understand what.
It's a cultural thing that someone that's not from a Western culture would never understand.
But they actually say that here too, the ER pronunciation of the word.
But
they don't realize how how this big issue. It's politically incorrect for U.S.
But it's funny too because they don't censor on local TV English swear words, so you'll see like it's funny because usually they'll censor the word sex. I've heard that censored, but then they'll say the F word. Or we were watching one movie, the movie Hoffa with Jack Nicholson was on TV here, just regular TV. And they kept saying the word sea. I'm not going to say the actual word, but sea sucker. This guy's a sea sucker. You guys know what I'm saying. And like they said that constantly throughout the movie, and I find it hilarious, like how filthy that is. But it's no big deal. So to Filipinos, if it's just like me. If I hear someone swear in Filipino, to me it's like it's not even really a cuss word. Because I didn't grow up like having negative thoughts or connotations. It's like meaningless to me. To them, when they hear English swear words, even the really hardcore ones, it's like nothing to them if it's in English, and they don't even censor it on TV.
Remember you in one of your TV guestings a few years ago, and then one of the hosts actually said that one English word that you said you couldn't believe he said it.
I don't remember.
P.
You gotta be
Anyways.
more specific.
Well, I don't know if it's okay to say it right now.
You don't have to say it. We're trying to keep this a little bit family friendly. Let's get back to some of these comments here that I've been missing. Delante Vlog Show says, Travis, how do you feel about atheists? I feel fine. I have a lot of atheist friends, a lot of atheists I like.
How are we supposed to feel towards them or feel about them?
I'm fine with them. So.
No, I mean, personally,
it's an okay question,
personally,
though.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's an okay question. I just don't have much to say about it. I'm fine.
It's a curious question. I mean,
we have a lot of atheists watching, I'm sure, and they're
I would
welcome
say
to.
I am not an atheist, but if I'm talking to an atheist, I would not expect him or her to agree with me in everything, but I think there's still a way for us to be able to have a harmonious friendship or conversation.
It's not a bad question, but I don't have much to say other than it's fine. I'm sure we have lots of atheists watching, and everyone's welcome, whether you're a Muslim. Like I said, we're all different, but I think a lot of my viewers, they're working towards their goals and their dreams, and they have a lot of other things in common like that, even if they're a little different. So that's what unites us. But of course, whether you're Muslim, Christian, atheist, Buddhist, whatever, I mean, I can be friends with anyone like that. It doesn't matter.
In addition to my answer to your question, atheists are actually my prayers. So they don't know that. Now I guess they know that if you are one of them. But yeah.
Hugo said, "How is the destruction after 2 or 3 typhoon pass?"
We didn't really feel it in our area.
Yeah, it didn't hit.
But I know this one young lady who lives in Bulacan. It's in the northern part, just a few hours from Manila. They have floods there. They have flooding there in their area.
Okay, did I cut you off?
It's okay.
Right. Rick Lander says, greetings from Tennessee. Well, I've been there to Chattanooga. He says, the U.S. has invented another disease, ESD, election stress syndrome. Thanks for casting a little sunshine in the midst of this insane storm. I'm sick of it all.
Aww.
Yeah, I know it's and things are really coming to a head right now because we're really getting close. It's going to be 2 weeks when it happens. So we're really seeing all this tension and everything come. It's like you could cut it with a knife, and things are getting so ugly, so nasty. It's going to be interesting to see what happens afterwards. I suspect things are probably going to settle back down.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do think, too, if Trump is elected, I think you're going to see riots in the street. Mm-hmm. And that'll be interesting to see if that happens. There's other issues with election fraud, election rigging. We've had a lot come out about that, especially in the past week. And, of course, Obama and Hillary Clinton, they both said it's undermining democracy to bring these issues up. However, I watched some videos today of them in previous years talking about how there's a lot of election fraud and saying that they believe when George Bush won that it was rigged. So that's another thing of saying things that these people say that they don't really believe. They're total hypocrites. But yeah, I understand it's a stressful time because of that. I've been keeping up on it. But even me, sometimes I just need to step away. Too much of it is not a good thing. Any good concerts coming up in Manila? Not that I'm aware of. They have a lot of big concerts here. I know Selena Gomez just came here. That's not something that would interest me. I'm not really sure what's coming up, actually. I haven't really been in. Our TV actually broke like a week ago. Not that we really watched it anyways. We hardly watch TV. I have been watching some TV shows, but on the internet, I've been binge watching Last Man Standing with Tim Allen. That's a pretty good show, so I've been binge watching that. Mark Ramos says Bamboo. Yeah, he's a local artist. I'm not as into Bamboo as he's the original singer, I think, of River Maya, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then it was Rico Blanco, and then he went solo, and now it's another guy. I'm not as up on that. Bamboo, I know he judges one of those TV shows.
Yes.
Um, let me see. Someone's asking about a possibility that if Duterte keeps up U.S. rent, travel will get more complicated, required visas, closed consulates. Well, I've addressed some of this in previous live streams. I'm going to have another separate video coming up here soon talking about what this means for you guys that are maybe applying for visas. I know a lot of you guys are trying to get visas for either your wife or your girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about what some of this stuff means. But in the meantime, I'm just going to say this: don't worry too much about it. So, but we'll address that a little bit later. But in the meantime, just
Chill.
yeah, chill. Yeah, like things aren't as bad as a lot of the media is making it seem. But we'll address that in a later video. There's no. Let me see. Thomas Miller likes Eagles and Alabama. I don't really like the Eagles.
I used to hear a lot of Eagles songs over and over and over again every Saturday or Sunday in my aunt's apartment where I used to live when I was in college. I didn't even know that was Eagles at first. I just heard their songs over and over again.
But I'll say
I think
this:
they're fine.
I would much rather have. Although I do like that one
I
song.
think they're good.
I like this. I think it's from Glenn Fry. He had some good songs. What's that one where he can't his Maserati drive about his he mentions his Maserati in the song. Very famous song. I think it's by Glenn Fry from the Eagles. I really like that song. I
Which
can't
song?
think of the name of it, but he meant the one where he mentions his Maserati in it. It's kind of a real like low key song. I really like that song. That's a classic. They still play that one on the radio a lot, but not a bit. I think I like that better than the Eagles. However, I'll take the Eagles any day to Whitney Houston or Michael Jackson. I remember growing up. It's kind of funny because after Michael Jackson died, and I was on YouTube then, and like I thought about doing a video. Everyone was doing videos about how much they loved Michael Jackson and what a great loss it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I was, if you're from my era, if you grew up when I grew up, Michael Jackson was the furthest thing from cool. Even when I was still in elementary school, Michael Jackson was seen as really lame. And then, of course, junior high and high school, if anyone would have said they're into Michael Jackson, people would have made fun of him. Like it was like so far, he was so far as being seen as cool by the time I was actually growing up. And then people thought of him just as a child molester by that time. That's what everyone was thinking about. I never really thought he was a bad guy, but I just thought his music's terrible. Whitney Houston too. I've never heard a Whitney Houston song that I like.
Well, in the
But maybe that has
Philippines,
to do with being a
those
man.
two artists are very popular here.
I've never heard a Michael Jackson song I've liked. I've never heard a Whitney Houston song that I've liked. And I know that those are, two of the most popular singers ever, but
Yes.
I don't know what it is. It just doesn't appeal to me. Something about that. To me it just sounds terrible. But it's kind of funny too after Michael Jackson died, I thought it was weird because everyone's like, "Oh, we lost this great man, this legend." It's like the day before that everyone was making fun of him, calling him a child molester. Cuz before he died, he'd actually been in the media a lot prior to his death because he was on the verge of a comeback. He
Mm-hmm.
had like this big concert series that planned in I think London, and it was so people have been talking about it for like weeks. He was in the news leading up to his death, and then it was also weird when I heard people like Justin Timberlake or especially like Justin Bieber
Mm-hmm.
when he was talking about how great Michael Jackson is and how what a big influence he is, and it's like, my goodness, you're younger than me. If people of my age demographic thought Michael Jackson was lame by the time we're growing up, why is this young kid like saying, "No, Michael Jackson's the coolest"? Kind of hard for me to understand, I think.
Well, because their music there has been passed on from generation to generation. It just shows you that.
It skipped my generation. No, even when my older brother, by the time he was like in junior high and high school and stuff, Michael Jackson would have been seen as kind of a lame has-been. So
Really? Well, that's how it is. Have you said hi to, let me see, where is it now? To James T6474. Thank you for joining us. Ponani asked, how is Duterte going to affect you as a Kano in the Philippines?
he's on the lookout for me. Don't tell him where I. No, I'm just kidding.
Nothing really. It's not affecting us in any way.
No effect.
Thankfully.
I can't say there's really been an effect on since he's taken office. There's not been an effect on my life one way or another. I can't, at least none that I can think of. If there has been, it's been a minor one that's not real direct, because not for me, nothing's really changed. That's another reason that I've been telling people, especially Americans or Westerners, that either want to come here or move here or they're currently here, especially the people that are currently here. I think they already know. Mm-hmm. But if you're still interested in moving here, if you're still interested in visiting, don't even worry about it. I mean, you could actually be concerned. Like we talked about on the previous broadcast, I think it was, they were supposed to have a UFC event here this month and they called it off. The official reason was BJ Penn, who was going to be in the main event, had a rib injury, so he couldn't fight. So they said they called it off because of that. But just yesterday, I saw some information, because there was rumors saying that had something to do with drug testing is the real reason they canceled it. But apparently what the story is, and I think it's believable, but I'm not sure 100%. But information that I saw yesterday, it did have to do with the drug testing, and it wasn't, because normally for these fights, they drug test all the fighters. But for this, supposedly they canceled because the government of the Philippines was going to drug test everyone, not just the fighters. All UFC employees that were coming were going to have to take a drug test. Well, what if someone tests positive for something? With the laws here, were they just going to be murdered? Is it, they didn't want to risk it. And even if they're not on drugs, do you really want someone? You never know what's going to happen in another country. They can just say you failed. They can, they can make you fail just to make an example out of you, a high-profile case. But word was they were going to the government wanted to drug test all UFC employees that were coming. So they said, But the story the UFC released was it was because BJ Penn's rib injury. Seems kind of funny that they have that they had an event scheduled in a foreign country, and then one guy gets hurt, even if it's in the main event, and they scrap the whole thing. They've only done that one other time in their history, and that's when Dan Henderson got hurt a week before he was supposed to fight John Jones, and then Chael Sonnen was going to step up and fight Jones on a week's notice, and Jones refused it. And other than that, the card was very weak. But why that's unique too was that was a pay-per-view. This other one wasn't a pay-per-view event. So that was a little bit different, but that's the only other time they canceled an event in the history of their company. So that's the story. The government wanted to drug test all UFC employees, and I think it's good that they canceled.
This event that was canceled, was this already handled by the new management or the old management?
Well, the new owners. Okay. Yeah, they took after UFC 200. I think they took control. Scott Mallet says, Travis, the song it's by Joe Walsh, not Glenn Fry. You're right, it is Joe Walsh. That Life's Been Good, they're saying, is the name of the song. Yes, that's the song I was thinking of. Yeah, that's a good song.
Cool. I should check it out.
I got off talking again, so I missed a lot of these comments. So, but yeah, that's it. I couldn't think of it. Very good song. Life's Been Good. Been a while.
Sing it.
Been a while since I've heard that song. Brian Michaluka is saying all races can come together to hate Justin Bieber.
That's because of the comments here.
and Brian, you're a Canadian. You're turning on your fellow countrymen there. Now, I don't hate Justin Bieber. I don't like his music, but I'm not part of the target demographic, so it's
I have a
okay.
friend who didn't like Justin Bieber in the past, but he started liking him with his new songs, he said.
But yeah, like it's funny, a fellow Canadian is turning on Bieber. But of course, I'm sure not everyone in Canada likes Justin Bieber, just like not everyone in the United States
Uh-huh.
liked Michael Jackson, and I'm a good
Mm-hmm.
example of that. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate Justin Bieber. It's him like Lindsay Lohan. I think that people judge them very negatively because of their troubles and stuff. But I think people can't really understand the pressures that people go through being so famous as a young person and how it just messes with your head. It's something that people aren't designed to take psychologically, that kind of pressure, and everyone in the universe telling them they're the greatest thing ever. And then you have other people that criticize every little thing that they do. It's a complete mind bleep
Why do you not guys like Justin Bieber?
because his music sucks.
But how
But if
come?
you're a
But
14-year-old
how
girl,
come
you
there are
probably
many
love it.
believers?
If you're a young girl, you probably love his music, but that's who it's for. Like it's to get the young girls excited. If you're an adult man, it's not really for you. So that's okay. We can have different things for different demographics, different things for different people. Just like I know that I'm not for everyone, Justin Bieber's not for a lot of people, but the point is you gotta like speak to your market, your demographic, and the bigger it
Yep.
is, the bigger of a star that you are. And young girls and young people, they're a very large demographic, young people that like pop music.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. I got no hate for someone says William Shatner sings better than Bieber and he's cooler. I will agree with that. William Shatner has a lot of good songs. He does spoken word. He does a lot of really great stuff actually. And he's a
Brian,
Canadian, William Shatner.
your comments are cracking me up about Justin Bieber.
One lonely farmer says, I live in hotels, tear out the walls, I have accountants pay for it all. I guess that's a song lyric from the
Oh,
song Life's Been Good.
cool.
And we're going to be living in some hotels here for a while. This is actually our last night here. Do you guys want me to vlog when we go and because we're going away for a while? Should I vlog it? I don't know. But we're going to be living in hotels for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Yep.
guys want me to vlog it, let me know, and I'll see what I can do.
Right. I think we should vlog it. You should vlog it.
Well, I don't know.
Sometimes, actually, there are times that, after vlogging every day or, always vlogging, you also feel that you need a break, like
Yes.
rest from just vlogging, like just give, spend some time just for yourself without a camera and all that. So, but of course, you guys are very special. So,
Yeah.
watch out for the next video.
Let me know if I was reading the comments. Let me know if you want me to vlog that. We're going to be staying in hotels. At one point, I thought about releasing a video, like a little guide to hotels in the Philippines, and my opinions on some various hotel chains and stuff. What's good, what's not good, in of course my opinion. When it comes to a lot of that stuff, a lot of it's matter of opinion. I've stayed in a lot of places throughout my lifetime, going beyond the Philippines. I've stayed in very cheap places, dumpy places, and I've stayed in the fanciest places. And I have a good time in all of them for the most part, to be honest with you. I really try and have a good time.
It's really the
Doesn't bother.
attitude. So,
I,
you
st- I
know,
used to stay in a lot of dumpy hotels with my father, and my dad
I
told
don't
me,
like dumpy hotels.
"You don't. You're a little bit more arcade than me." But
I just, it's just natural, I think.
growing
For
up,
you, it's like an adventure.
Yeah, well, my dad's he used to tell me as a little kid when we'd stay in dumpy hotels and stuff, these dumpy motels, and he'd say, I kind of like, he used to say, I kind of like staying in a dumpy place. It's kind of fun. It's kind of an adventure. So I kind of had that attitude about it.
Not when we went to Bicol the first time. We had to stay in that one hotel, and
That place was extreme, though.
oh, that was like so. Well, anyways, let me just share the story with
Sure.
them. Short story. So we checked into that hotel. It's actually in front of a mall there in Legazpi, and so we were already in the room, and then the TV was dusty. Was it not? It wasn't working even, I think, or was it working at least?
It was
The
just dusty. There was
the bath,
cockroaches in the
yeah,
bathtub.
the bathtub. They really look dirty. Like they don't really clean it, and so I felt like maybe this bed is also dirty or something.
It
You know,
was a
like
pretty dirty place.
so here's what we did. We talked to the front desk and we said we're just gonna check out and maybe we could just get a refund because we were just there like for less than an hour. And I didn't like it when they were like saying, no, you have to pay. Because I mean like
We weren't there even an hour. We were there
yeah,
like
but
20 minutes, and we did
they
talk,
give us
right? And you said, Travis, we got to move. You told me there's no way you're staying in that building.
course.
So we went out and we demanded our
It's
money
not
back because
it's
we were
not
barely there. And then they said, no, you had to pay the full price. They thought we had sex in there, as
exactly
if we could do that in a place that
that
filthy.
made that it kind of made me angry. And but of course I had to deal with them in peaceful manner. But I made sure that my point was clear to them. So we didn't have to pay. And I had to explain to them that we don't have to pay. We didn't have to pay considering the kind of hotel room they have and the kind of, just it's not being martyred, we're being choosy. It's about convenience, comfort, and you're paying for it anyways. And it's not like, even if you pay something, you remember the review we have for one of the hotels on a channel? People would say, "Oh, you're staying in a cheap hotel." It's not really like cheap, cheap. You still pay for it, and you think the
Yeah.
money you paid is equivalent to some good service still. It doesn't excuse you from providing good customer service or good quality of whatever product you have, you know? So, just
Um,
saying.
So Bill J says he likes Red Planet Hotels, good price, and says used to be called Toon Hotel.
Right.
Just to mention, I won't be if I do a hotel guide. I'm not going to put that one in it. We're talking about now. They're not a sponsor or anything, but the reason I wouldn't put that one in the hotel guide is because I've never stayed there. We've been in couple of their rooms. A couple of years ago, they invited us over there and they talked about maybe doing some kind of work together. It never happened, but they showed us some of the rooms. Yeah, the rooms seemed nice, but I can't really comment so much on the experience from my own experience of staying there because I didn't actually stay there. I just went inside a couple of the rooms and stuff and checked it out, but it looked pretty nice, yes. And the
Unless
price isn't
unless
bad.
we unless, one of these days we get to stay there and experience how it is.
So that one will not be in the hotel guide, but thanks for mentioning it. So, but yeah, like from what I saw, they were nice rooms. I just can't comment on what it's like to actually stay there since I have not stayed there overnight. And
See,
um,
here's what they say about the vlog that you asked. Just Thomas Miller said, just do what you can. Mark Ivory Thomas said, it's up to you both when we will still watch it. And you go, we're always happy to get news about you, what you're doing, and the info you give us. Thank you so
well, let
much
me
for that.
comment on that. Thank you for that. Hit me up on Instagram. I haven't really been vlogging much lately for YouTube, but Instagram has this new feature called Stories. I'm fairly new to Instagram. I've really only been using it seriously for maybe a few months now, but I've been using the Stories feature, which is actually it's kind of like a vlog, only you don't have to spend time editing it, and it's very raw. It's fun actually to watch other people's stories, but only like I like to watch other people maybe that I know from YouTube to see what else they're doing, whether they're out in Europe or whatever. It's kind of fun to see what some of the well, it's because I know them in a greater sense because I also watch their YouTube content. But if you want to stay what's happening, and I will be very, some days I don't always post stories every day. I went several days not posting anything on Instagram stories. I posted a couple things today. What's fun about Instagram stories is it's not really something that you would necessarily want to make like a regular post in your feed, like for a photo or a video. It's just really silly things. So people feel, especially since after 24 hours it deletes. There's this sense that it's not permanent. So people feel very free, like they can get very outrageous and silly, much sillier than they would normally act. And I can get very silly on it myself, but it's very fun. So follow me on Instagram and check out my stories. Even if I don't necessarily vlog everything what I'm doing when we're away for these next few weeks, uh, follow me on Instagram. Check my Instagram stories. I'm probably going to post a lot of stuff there.
Here's an interesting comment from Scott Malec. He said, I do not like Tune because the management assumed incorrectly that my Filipino wife was a prostitute. When did this
Well, that's a
happen?
pretty big issue.
Yeah, when did this happen? I actually have a contact from that hotel, like their sales manager.
Yeah, they're called Red Planet now. They changed. They were Tune. They're called Red Planet. They're owned by AirAsia airline, and that's a pretty major
I
faux
know.
pas.
That's
So screw you, Red Planet. Where other people said good things. This guy says something bad, but so screw you, Red Planet.
whoever was there, whoever did that. I'm not sure
That's a pretty
if
offensive
that
thing to
person is still
do.
working there.
But that's another very insensitive thing about Filipinos. Filipinos often they can be very insensitive, especially when it comes to interracial. It's funny we were talking about multiculturalism earlier, but Filipinos, man, they see an interracial couples, they want to start making assumptions and they want to assume the worst.
The comment here is like the stereotype, the common impression many Filipinos have on Filipinos who have American or white or just non-Filipino a spouse or boyfriend. They would think that the Filipina is there just for greener pasture. The
They
Filipina,
like it's crab mentality.
yeah, the Filipina just wants a visa to another country like U.S.
They like to bring their own people
or
down.
whatever country. They'd say jackpot, like
Very rude.
yeah,
Which means that they're
like
using them for money and
yeah, or you're so lucky. But it could also mean like they're just so wow, you got that's a jackpot. But I don't know. I mean, this just how many Filipinos think.
it's so rude. Like that's one thing in the United States, which you'll find out soon enough, uh, that people don't react that way. And a couple, especially an interracial couple, they don't act all weird about it like they do here and say really outrageous, rude things to your face. But if you can leave the story actually in the comments because that's pretty interesting. If Red Planet, like if the staff, and I can totally see how this could happen. A lot of workers here can be very rude. I have that other one where we went to Camelot Hotel to check out their rates, and we saw how rude the staff was there. People, employees here can be jerks, and especially when it comes to dealing with interracial couples like that, I mean, they can be really rude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to put down my own people because many Filipinos are also very, very good at customer service. They're very friendly. They're very hospitable and all these other great qualities. But in reality, there are also Filipinos who are just not good in terms of providing customer service. In terms of, they 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 can be judgmental. They can be members of the Crab Mentality Association. You know what I mean? Yeah, but
But we're going away for a while. We'll see if we vlog it. I don't really know because I was thinking about should I vlog it. I don't know if I really have a lot to add to say about what we'll be doing, but we'll be away. We'll be in hotels, but definitely Instagram. I'm pretty sure I'll be posting Instagram stories, and I do like to get pretty silly in those. So they should be fun. And I really like that feature because it's almost like a vlog that's put together, but you don't have to spend time editing it. It kind of connects everything on its own, and it's nothing fancy. It's just a very raw look. It's not stylish. It's not produced. But it's different than YouTube vlogs that sense of rawness that this is real. It gives you kind of a deeper sense of reality, I think.
Yeah. Garland Blue said we Americans can be high maintenance and we show it when we travel sometimes. Yeah, I think so.
Well, yes and no. Were my
I know.
parents
Yeah,
difficult
exactly.
to deal with?
For mom and dad, they're not like that. They were very reasonable, and they were. I actually took care of everything for them, and they didn't have to spend a lot or like beyond what's reasonable.
I also have a lot of, I think at least a couple of videos that I shot. I never even released. So maybe while I sit around in the hotel room in the air conditioning, maybe if I don't have anything else to do, I'll upload those. I don't
Hmm.
know if I don't know exactly how much I have on my agenda over the next few weeks, and
You have some photography project.
I have a project. I can't vlog that. You're gonna be working. I can't really shoot that. I might be working, and it's not stuff that I can include in vlogs because
It's actually work and leisure, but most of it is work.
a lot of people too. That's like some people they want to see every little job I do, and I can show you guys like the acting jobs and stuff like that, modeling jobs. That's okay, but sometimes when I get hired out to do projects for other people, I can't really show you guys that because it involves other people and they don't necessarily want to be a part of my YouTube channel or in one of my videos. They're not looking for that attention or that publicity. So a lot of that stuff I can't shoot, and the times when I'm working, I won't be able to vlog that because like I said, it just involves other people. So I mean
Yeah.
it's not really an option.
Garland Lou, though, I remember Tom, your cousin. He said like he doesn't really go on vacations all the time, so it's more like a um, once a year or something like that experience. You might as well just maximize your vacation time and spend the money you have for that.
Go,
So it really depends on the person who's vacationing.
Garland Loose also says that I'm different.
Oh, that's
Oh,
referring to
that's
mom and
something new.
dad's.
He says your adventure, I'm sure, has opened their eyes to the world. You're the exception, my friend. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you,
I've
Garland.
done a lot of low end things, and I've done a lot of high end things, and everything in between. And when I want to show in my videos is both those experiences, especially I haven't really shown in the past couple of years much of the really lower end stuff like the slums and everything, partly because on social media I've realized what people really like to see more is the fancy lifestyles, and uh, I get that that can be really fun to look at, like the really luxurious things, people jet setting, people staying in super nice hotel rooms all the time, people eating at the nicest restaurants. That's usually what audiences want to see. But the thing I don't like about that is a lot of these vloggers and these Instagram stars that push that stuff,
Hmm.
it presents kind of an unrealistic vision for people that they show everyone how glamorous their lifestyle is, but the reality of their life might not even be that.
Hmm.
And then
Showing off.
I can see the audience
Yeah.
has fun watching it, but I think a lot of people, some people I think are actually inspired to go out and do things as a result of that and push for more in their
That's
life.
the good impact, I guess. The
That's the good
positive
impact.
impact.
But then there's other people that they can be like, oh man,
They would feel bad
yeah,
because they can't get that.
exactly.
They can't experience
They
that.
see these social media stars living these glamorous lifestyles, and then they're like, well, why can't I get that? And then they just kind of feel bad about themselves. So I think that that's a heavy downside. And the bottom line is, with all these social media people, all these social media stars, we don't really know what their lives are like when they're off camera. Even with me, like when I love to share a lot of things with you, and since I started this vlog series, because I used to do more just comedy skits and travel, like straight travel videos. But since I started this vlog, this life vlog series like maybe over 2 years ago now, um, I've been showing a lot more personal things about me and my real life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but keep in mind, as much as I share with you guys, there's still a lot of stuff that you don't see in my life. There's good times you don't see. There's bad times you don't see. I'm
Mm-hmm.
human like everyone else. And you're scrolling. I was going to read some
Okay,
comments.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna greet some
Go
people
ahead.
that we haven't said hi
Go ahead.
to yet, but I think I lost it. No, I'm sorry. There. Where is that comment you wanted to read? Go ahead.
I
Um,
don't see it.
Hi to Scott Pool 12 who's joining us right now as well. And okay, should I go up?
You can do what you
Bill
want.
J. Scott, thank you also for sharing that experience you had in that hotel. This is not a paid sponsorship uh, for Tune Hotel, but
Red
it's
Planet.
Red Planet.
Now it's Red Planet.
Okay, but it's good because at least you guys get to share information, exchange good information, so you'd
Some
have
people
good
liked it,
reference
except for Scott, who
in
they thought
the
his wife
future.
was his prostitute.
Yeah, actually, remember we also have remember one of your super avid fan and also a friend now from US and a Filipina as a wife. Um, oh, what's her name again? Kathy, I think. She usually stays there when she's here in Manila. Yeah.
What does Thomas Miller say?
Um, Aaron, you guys sleep yet?
I don't know what time it is. It's almost 2 a.m. here.
I am actually sleepy, but I'm trying to keep up.
She's been sleep deprived because she's been working so much. And I'm tired just because I've been doing so little. It's amazing how tired that you get when you do nothing. No,
What?
I've been doing stuff. I've been doing some work for some other people, editing stuff, but
Well, we do
nothing real
different things.
physical.
Well, I do. I just did some physical stuff because I had to go shopping, but that's work. Yeah. Hugo said you can be a peaceful ambassador. Aha, like Angela Jolie.
That would be okay
Two
with
four. Okay.
that would be okay for me, for whoever wants me. That would be totally okay with me. But for my Instagram, just go to Travis Craft Official, and I'm trying to hold it up to the camera. I got to aim it right. So that's my Instagram, Travis Craft Official, and you'll see my stuff. Let me see if I can play one of my stories.
Do you have a story now? They go away like in 24 hours, right?
Yeah,
They
I
get
got
deleted
like a couple.
automatically.
Oh, there I am waking up. See, for the stories, you just want to post silly little things. That's me in bed. This is me down by the pool. So I'm still showing you guys a lot about my world. It's really tends to be very silly things,
Because
but
you can't really upload a very long video. It's like how
it has
long?
like a 10-second limit on it. But basically, yeah, just search it's Instagram.com/TravisCraftOfficial, and I post a lot of things on it. I've been active more and more on Instagram, and I post a lot of things that you won't find on my YouTube, things that you won't even find on my Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems to be the platform. And it's funny because it seems like I was the last to start up using Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Look, Superman is sleepy here. Just noticed it. Okay, so what else do we have?
Garland Lou says it's great when people use the audience platform to inspire change in the Philippines. I am a Chinese American married to a Filipina, bringing a new method of construction. I wonder if he's related to our friend. We have a Chinese American friend here that has the same last name
But
as
just
you,
different
but
spelling.
he spells it differently.
Yeah. Well, that's a great thing that you're doing, Garland. we need more people like you and what you're doing, and in this world of chaos.
You just
Um,
got my vlog camera fixed for me yesterday. My LCD screen actually was
yeah,
having problems. My camera worked, but there's a part called the flex that has to do when you turn the screen, it flips it for
right.
you. That went bad. You got that fixed at Canon yesterday, so my vlog camera is fully functioning again thanks to you, Imabel.
You're welcome. And of course, because I was stuck and I didn't really leave Makati as soon as I got it done. Traffic, rush hour. So I stayed in a restaurant in the mall. I decided to just record something, and it will be on my YouTube channel as
She has a
well.
YouTube channel. Just search Ima Speaks. IMA, second word speaks. SPEAKS.
Speaking of, thank you so much for you guys who already subscribed. I haven't been able to upload videos lately, but I'm gonna upload what I recorded last night, and just to share with you guys. It's not really as fancy or as what how do you describe it? It's not like a vlog. It's just talking, and I'm just sharing my thoughts, my insights, something that could help other people, inspire people, and just to share it with them, with you.
We have
And
someone checking in from South Africa.
cool. Africa and Asia is the name. And we also have
Jim Fastener says, I envy you being able to live there. I am coming to the Philippines next month from Minnesota. Very excited. Not my first time, but I wish I didn't need to
we
leave.
have a friend from Minnesota, right, who's in my hometown. He's married to a Filipina, the sister, older sister of my high school friend, but she's also my friend actually.
Well, let me ask you this, Jim. Why do you envy me for being able to live in the Philippines? I'm just wondering. So just you can type your answer there and we'll discuss.
African Asia said, I miss Calbayog. Are you from Calbayog or you've been there? Interesting.
We have Jarek
Ferrarin, hello
Ferrarin.
po.
Hello.
Hello to you as well.
Hello back.
Yeah. And Mark Iris Ramos, I really like all your vlogs. I also watched on Real Death. Let me see.
He's talking about my camera that we
Oh
just
right.
got fixed.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is the camera. This is the camera that got fixed. It's called Canon Vixia Mini. Yeah.
So,
Did you buy one, Mark?
yep, but we got that fixed yesterday, so I can vlog
Thank
again.
you to Canon.
I haven't been vlogging that much, not just because the camera I couldn't really use the screen so well, but haven't been doing it. But that's why I've been using Instagram more lately. That's why you guys got to follow me on Instagram and you can see my stories, which I don't necessarily post every day, but there are days when I post a lot of fun and interesting things on there.
Jim answered your question.
He says he cannot afford to live in the Philippines. Why is that? I'm assuming maybe because you have a job that keeps you in Minnesota, but why can't you afford to live here? Is it because you have a job that
It's possible, yeah.
so well maybe it's something else, but I'm just kind of assuming that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, but I actually have a book that'll be coming out here in the near future. I know we've been talking about it a lot on these live streams about.
It has been we just don't we're not able to finalize it yet for release because of the so many super many things that we've been taking care of. But hopefully you can
That'll
get
be
hold of it
yeah,
for Christmas or New Year.
that'll be for sale. And even if you're not sure that you want to live in the Philippines, I
That
think
will
it'll
be a
be a
good
great read.
reference.
It can help you
Resource.
decide if you wanna at least try it. I think it can help you decide. But even if you don't really want to live in the Philippines, I think it'll just be a good read. It's kind of meant to be maybe even a little bit inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though it's kind of a guide, I think it is, if you read it, it can kind of get you excited even to do other things. So even if you don't want to, I think it'll be a good enough read that you should be able to enjoy it, even if that's not what you necessarily want to do. So he says, yes, he has a job. maybe when he retires, well, you could quit your job, Jim. You could do that, but
Well, if
the
he quits, maybe that's not
the
the best decision if he quits his job now.
well, that's kind of what I'm saying. uh, a lot of people say they can't live in the Philippines, and I feel like living in another country, if you're an American, is one of the easiest things to do. However, you do have to make, and I've talked about this in some of my other videos, you do have to make sacrifices. And is the sacrifice worth it? Well, it depends on what you're giving up. It might be worth it, it might not. Do you like your job? Do you not like your job? Do you really, even if you have good paying benefits, do you necessarily want to spend a lot of time,
Hmm.
even if you make good money, or take a risk doing something else where you might not make? That's that's the that's kind of the trade-off. Anytime, I just watched a movie yesterday actually, where they said to get your dream, to get what you want, you have to give up something. And I think they said that's like a Chinese saying. I don't know
Hmm.
if it's really a Chinese saying. That's
Maybe
what they said it
Garland
was.
Blue can say something
That's
about
what they
that.
said it was in the movie. But I think that's very true, and I have talked about this a lot. I have that one video where we were on the beach in Calbayog, and I talked about some of this, saying how it's so nice I can go out and enjoy the beach with the family. So many other people are working like slaves, saying they wish they could do that. Um, and the bottom line is, it usually doesn't take as much as you think it does, but you do have to make sacrifices to do some of these things. And the sacrifice may be worth it, it might not. Maybe his job has great pay, great benefits, and maybe he kind of likes doing it.
Hmm.
So maybe in his case, at least apparently, what what he said is it's not worth giving up if he's still there.
Yeah, he said, my wife lives in the south of the Philippines. I need to support her for now. This is the best option. See,
So
that's what I thought.
So do you live in Minnesota, but your wife currently lives in the Philippines, Jim?
I think so. Yeah.
If so, why? You can leave the details in the comments, but
Um.
because we're missing a few details here, I'm just wondering about.
Yeah.
But
But you don't have to give out the details
what kind
you
of,
don't feel
if you don't
like
feel
it.
like giving them
Yeah.
out, what kind of work do you do there in Minnesota, Jim? I have an aunt and uncle that live in Minnesota too.
Right. We have a comment from Shane Gable. Hi guys, I just got back from the Philippines. I had a good time, spent a week in Malapascua. Really, in Cebu. I'm planning on going back soon. I love your videos. Travis, there. We're gonna go
You'll love
Cebu.
our videos even more when we're in Mongolia, which won't be immediately, but
You
hopefully
go,
soon.
Travis, in which country or region you live? Maybe city, near Cebu, Manila, or Pampanga? Answer.
Well, I live in the Philippines.
In Metro Manila,
Which region do I live?
it's the National Capital Region,
Hu-
NCR.
Hugo, have you not been watching my videos? I don't always say
No,
where I am,
I
but I feel like it's pretty
maybe
obvious
because
in
he's
most of them.
not. Maybe Hugo does
Okay.
not know exactly what part,
A
which
lot of the times
region
in
we're
these
part
live
of. I'll be
streams,
back.
I didn't for this one, but a lot of the times in the live stream, I put what city we're in most of my other live streams. But we're in Quezon City, Metro Manila. There's a few places I think in Metro Manila that are the best. Quezon City is one of them. I like Quezon City a lot, so that's where I am. We almost moved a couple months ago. We considered moving to Makati, but we ended up staying in Quezon City. But yeah, I'm in Quezon City. So Jim says that watching my videos helps him feel a little closer to the Philippines. Well, thank you, Jim. Hopefully, you don't just like the Philippines, and that's not the only reason you like my videos. Hopefully, you like me too, because like when we went to Singapore last year, I think those were some of our best videos actually when we went to Singapore
That was my first
and
thing.
Malaysia. Uh, if we go to some other countries like maybe Mongolia sooner or later, hopefully you enjoy those videos. Like my goal is just to produce good content, regardless of what it's about or the type of content, whether it's a comedy, whether it's a documentary, whether it's a feature. I always hope that it's entertaining and somehow enlightening. So
Yep. Ronnie Rodriguez, yo, Travis and Ema, yo, back to you. And Let's see. Anthony Arnold moving there in November with wife, hopefully in the Manila area. Cool.
Jim says they're adopting some children. They're waiting until that's done for them to go to the U.S.
Okay, okay.
You'll be applying for visas for them.
Mm,
I'll have some information about that coming out soon. Should probably in this next week about how we're going about that. So hopefully that helps you out too.
yeah. And let's see. Ronnie Rodriguez, is it safe to live there, Travis, when things not going good there? So far, like what we
I
said
think so.
earlier, things are fine. We don't really feel that, you know, we don't really feel
This
any
is why you
negative.
This is why you got to watch my Instagram stories. It'll give you a feel. Like I said, it's a very these things, even though they tend to be very silly, they really give you an unfiltered look at life for
Mhm.
the people creating them. They're much more unfiltered, even though most people act, including myself, act very silly in them. So you got to be following my Instagram stories. It's very much an unfiltered look. Of course, too, I'm not posting the bad moments I have in life. It is mostly like it's more lighthearted moments. So it's not everything in your life. Like I said, those downtimes or those bad moments. Uh, but it does show you a good look at day to day life. So follow me on Instagram and check out those stories.
Right. And
If you know
go
what I'm
ahead.
talking about by that feature.
Garland Lou said we are building on Samuel Island near Caniva Beach. Search Caniva Beach Resort on YouTube and you'll see our drone footage from 2 months ago. We have condos designed in the location as well. Have you been to Samuel Island near Davao? I have been there. He has not been there yet. I went to particularly Pearl Farm because that's where we taped some episodes for a game show and in ABS-CBN of ABS-CBN rather when I worked for the game show, and I loved it there. I loved it there. Let's see.
Ronnie says he heard they were burning U.S. flags. Well, I don't know about that, but there's been a lot of protests outside the United States Embassy, so probably, yeah, they were probably burning them, but it's just cloth, man. I'm sure they're burning those in the U.S. too. So, and I don't mean that by saying it's just cloth. I don't mean to disrespect the United States, and definitely I'm not trying to disrespect any veterans that fought for what that cloth symbolizes. But my point is, don't worry about it. It doesn't really hurt us. It doesn't really hurt anyone if they can burn all the flags they want. It's not going to hurt my feelings or get me worked up.
Yeah, that's
How do you
true.
guys? Garland says, how do you guys feel about the changing relationship between the Philippines and the USA? I don't want to get into that right now because I want to save that for another one. I was thinking about doing a video about that because I get asked this question, I don't know how many times a day now, that people send me letters or comments on Facebook and stuff asking that same question. And even though originally it's not something I would have just talked about on my own, I suppose I should do a separate video about it.
Right.
So maybe I'll do that this week if I'm sitting around in the hotel with nothing else to do at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for all your comments. Thank you so much for your time just to join us on this live stream. And by the way, if you were not able to start from the very beginning of this live stream, you can watch the recording later. Hopefully, everything is recorded
I don't know because we
completely.
had that interruption
Yeah,
earlier where it said
well,
it
I'm just
stopped
hoping for the
streaming.
best. And Ronnie asks you, are you going to see Star Wars Rogue One?
Probably not. It's like they just came out with a new Star Wars movie and I feel already fatigued from it. I saw some of the trailers online. I didn't think it looked too good.
Anthony Arnold said, my wife and I lived in the Philippines back in 91 and 92. I think the anti American sentiment was bigger back then. Not too
Possibly.
worried about things happening this recent. That's a good point too. I mean, like,
I heard back in the early 90s. Of course, I wasn't here that early. I started coming over
I was very young
I
then.
started coming over in 2003, but
When I was
I
in like
heard that
high
the
school.
Philippines in the early 90s was much cheaper than compared to now. I even remember, definitely 2003, but especially back in 2007, it was actually a lot cheaper. At least
Hmm.
the exchange rate was much better. I remember when it was 60 to 1. It kills me too. Like I've seen it drop down to like 38 to 1 or 39 to 1, and people are like, "Oh, the Philippines, it's our money's worth so much over there. It's like the exchange rate is so good." It's like these people don't understand how it works. It did they because they scale things up. It's not like $1 equivalent to like $38. They think that a lot of these people they don't understand, and I can see how they would think that if they've never left their own country. They hear about the exchange rate and they think, oh, a dollar equals 40 in their money. Well, I guess if a cheeseburger at McDonald's costs a dollar, you can take that dollar to that country and then they'll give you 40 hamburgers for that dollar. Well, that's not the way it works. They would change the price at McDonald's so a hamburger costs 40. They scale it up. Uh, but you know, all these people that think the exchange rate is good now, or even like a couple of years ago when it was even lower. I remember when it was like 59 or even 60 to 1. I mean, that's when it was really a good exchange rate.
Garland said in 2005 it was 56 pesos per USD. Earlier today I was just at the money changer. The US dollar to peso is 48.27, I
He said
think.
it was in 2005, it was 56 pesos per use. I
And
think you said 65
when?
just now.
No, no, no. Just earlier today, US dollar to peso is. Oh, God,
I think you
did I
said
misread it?
65. You said it was
Okay, okay.
56,
Well,
which
I'm
would
sorry,
make
I
more
misread it. See,
sense.
I'm really sleepy now. Um, I haven't been sleeping much. Earlier today, I was at the money changer, and then the US dollar to peso was 48.27, I think, and the pound to peso was 58 point something. I just 50, no 50. God, I can remember 54 point something. It was 50 plus. Anyways,
But I think this is a good time since you're so sleepy and we've been talking for a while. It's a good time, I suppose, to end it.
well, like what I was saying, we really appreciate your time, guys. Thank you for joining us. And this is not the last. We'll have more live streams coming, and we look forward to having you again on the next live stream. And once again, let's thank all of the members of our Patreon family. You can check out patreon.com/craft. And our Patreon family is really very supportive and they help us continue to make videos for you. And these videos we make are, to entertain you, to inspire you, to inform you. So we do our best to do that. And anything else?
Thanks, guys, for watching this. Thanks for spending time with us. Thanks for all your support. And go ahead and leave us comments. Let us know what you're thinking. I'm so glad that even though I don't push a certain agenda of multiculturalism like many of these politicians, I'm glad that we can come together despite our differences here and hopefully work towards our goals and better ourselves. So thank you guys very much.
Happy
We're off.
weekend.
Bye bye.
God bless.